So I've covered what the gear is that goes into my pack that I'm carrying for my end-to-end on the Bibbulmun. So I thought I'd just quickly touch on the actual gear that I would wear on a daily basis. It's pretty straightforward. I really like the cool Liberator pants. They're good material. They dry pretty quickly. They're zip-off convertibles, which I like. Very comfortable, and I've had really good wear out of them. They're a little bit expensive, but you know I've used them a lot, and find that they're a really good fit. And I like the fact that they convert into shorts when the weather starts getting a bit warm. I'm a real fan of the Icebreaker Merino boxers. Find them very, very comfortable. They're not sweaty or smelly, and I can go 4, 5, 6 days, even a week, and still not have any obvious hygiene issues, as far as at least nobody else has complained yet. I really like those, and they're a bit expensive, but again, I've had them for quite a while and have got a lot of use out of them, and would really recommend them. Up top, I like t-shirts, but when I first did my Cape to Cape hike a few years back, I got a bit sunburnt because I didn't have a collar on it, and the shirt that I've sort of settled on in the last couple of years is this Sierra Designs long sleeve pack shirt. It's very comfortable, it's light, it dries quickly, it's synthetic, and it's got a good fold-up collar on it. The only thing that I would like to modify on it is that it's difficult to push the sleeves up. It really needs some way of unbuttoning, and so you can roll the sleeves up a little bit easier. But apart from that, I really like the shirt. On the head, I prefer a light cap, like this New Balance. I like the visibility. Started wearing a high-vis cap when I was at the PCT last year, just in case there was any sort of gun-happy hunters out on the trail. But yeah, I like, you can see that from quite a way, and it's nice and light, cool, ventilated. And when it is really sunny, more than just what the collar and cap can cope with, I've used one of these Goanna Legionnaire type bits that fits over the top of the cap and gives full neck protection down and over your ears, so that works really well too. And you can take it off, get rid of it when you don't want it, so it's all quite light. Sunglasses, prescription sunnies for me, they're a given. I don't hike anywhere unless I've got my poles these days. Since going to poles, yeah, I've been a real convert. They just make life so much simpler and easier, more secure on the downhills, a lot easier on uphills, and better for rhythm on the flats. And similarly, I use them as my main support poles on my tents and my tarp that I use. And they're adjustable black diamond carbon corks. I really like the cork handle. It's very comfortable. It doesn't sweat. I've used these for the last couple of years now. Still got heaps of life left in them. I very much use the strap that's integral with the trekking poles. I have seen people, particularly in the States, that take them off, but I find that they give you a lot more support, and they also take part of the weight, particularly on downhills, if you use them properly. But that's a different discussion. I've seen all sorts of styles of people using them. Footwear wise, I like a 2 sock system. I use a very thin, lightweight, light feet, which you can get from Foot Locker or something like that. liner, and then I really like, again, Icebreaker hiking socks, just a mid-crew, medium weight, not a heavy one. So that between the two, I've got a reasonable amount of cushioning. The merino again is good in terms of breathing, but not getting sweaty and smelly. And I think they've been definitely part of my success over the last 3 years of not having any blisters over the last couple of thousand kilometres of hiking. The other part of that equation also is the shoes. When I did Cape to Cape back in 2013, I had major blister issues. My shoes were the same size as my normal day-to-day running shoes, and they were too small. My feet just spread when I'm hiking. So I've gone, all my hiking shoes since then are a full size bigger than what I would normally use for around town and running and things like that. And I've also gone to non-Gore-Tex ones because they breathe better, you don't sweat, and they stay cooler. And I like the trail shoes, like these Salmon Pro XA3Ds, because they're lighter, easy to wear, and yeah, they're just really comfortable. One of the other aspects that I picked up last year when I was in the States on the PCT hike was using the green Superfeet inserts. I started the PCT with just the normal insert that comes with the shoes, but met several people that really talked about it. I had seen them discussed quite a bit online, and met a couple of friends who really raved about them. So when I wore out my first pair of the XAs, I got some Superfeet to put in them, and they definitely are a worthwhile add. They give you really good support in the arch, bit stiffer and firmer. You don't feel the stones and sticks and stuff underneath as much, and they actually prolong the life of the shoe. For me, they're a really good add. And the combination of the socks, the larger size shoes, the lighter shoes, the non-Gore-Tex so they don't sweat, and the Superfeet, it's a great combination. And like I said, I've done a couple of thousand Ks hiking in the last couple of years, and I haven't had a single blister from this setup. The only other thing I'll start off with is the Salmon little mini gaiters, and I'll use those because on the southern section of the bib, where you're on the beaches and coastal stuff, they're useful for stopping the sand from getting down into the shoes. But once I leave the sandy sections, I'll probably post them home from Northcliffe, I reckon, because I'm starting in Albany. I'm going south to north, and I'll send them home in the mail. So that's my daily hike wear. All stuff that I've used over the last couple of years, and very, very comfortable with it all. Just another thing on footwear, haven't fully decided yet, but for the Pingerup Plains, I'm tossing up, and I'll leave it to a little bit closer to the time, either starting in Albany with an older pair of my XA 3D shoes, which are starting to wear out, which these ones are. They've still got a bit of life in them, but they're getting down. You can see that they're breaking off at the bottom and things like that. And use those all the way through to Northcliffe. Basically, just walk through the Pingerup Plains with them. Mail myself in my resupply box to Northcliffe a set of new shoes, and then just turf these ones. Or if I start with a fresh set of XAs, I'll mail myself with my resupply box to Walpole, just a pair of old runners. Use them through the wet sections through Pingerup, and then just chuck them in the bin when I get to Northcliffe. I hadn't really decided yet. I just don't want to use my good ones through the wet section because I want to try and prolong the life of them. So yeah, that's a decision I'll make a little bit closer to the time.